And one other thing, the medicine said was technical cigarette works better on interrogation rather than waterboarding. And then Trump tweeted that, well, I still think waterboarding would work, but he can, General Mattis can override my view on it. So we just get all this together. We don't exactly know who's doing what and how these things will go. We also hear what Trump referred to as the fake news, that neither Tillerson or Pence was able to get through his recommended deputy secretaries if the fake news is true, is real news. So we know Trump, a lot of people thought Trump would put this good man and put them in charge, let them run their departments and come with their recommendations, then he will make his final decision. These two cases shows that's not the case. And another thing is, after Flynn was told to leave, and there's another guy who was recommended to take his replacement, that was Trump's first choice, and he turned it down on the reason that, and for the reason that he would not be able to appoint and hire his own staff people. Now, McMaster, the latest one, now he's got, well, we know about his military performance and all that, and accomplishments, all that, but we don't know what his personal views on North Korean issue or Korean Peninsula for that either, because it's not subject to confirmation hearing. He has not written anything. He has not given any speech on this matter either. So what I'm saying is, this is a stage of the administration. We don't know what the process is exactly. We don't know what the policy substance is. And no wonder no one can say that this is the Trump's policy. Now, my question, there is certainly elements of a continuity and also change or possible changes. Number one, 22, the Asia-Pacific area, or China sees, and with U.S. relationship with China. Number one, what happened to Obama's rebalancing to Asia? Is it done? Is it gone? With TPP, according to John Kerry, there is a very critical component of America's rebalancing to Asia to reinforce our strategy. Now that's gone. Now, so is there continuity in terms of U.S. policy or more policy to China, for example? The speaker mentioned very critical elements like not only just the China Sea and maritime capability, and of course the idea of rebalancing to Asia was not just to cope with increasing China's maritime capability as aircraft carriers and whatnot, but also its economic and political influence in the region, whether or not the U.S. will be influence will be shrunk in such a way the war will be finally pushed out of the region. That I think will happen anyway. But nevertheless, these are the questions. And speaking, in dealing with China, there are a number of factors. China Sea, South China Sea is certainly an impending issue because we hear most about it, and also trade, of course. Now, no multilateral trade agreements. How he's going to deal with the China for a deal other than what Trump said so far. He has his trade representative, but the U.S. trade representative, but he hasn't put out anything yet. So we don't know what. So one way you know about policy substance is when you understand the views of those players, and we don't even know a lot of these players' views, what their views are. And so still only in the stage. So and then one thing. Trump hasn't said anything about is human rights issue in China. I haven't heard it. I don't know, someone else may have heard that, but I haven't heard it. In fact, on his inauguration day, he said, "We not seek to impose our way of life on other countries. Rather, we will set our example." That's what he said. And so that also reminds me, every president, when they come into office, they say with big ideas. W. Bush, for example, he said he was going to build the world with democracy free of tyranny. And he said he was going to do it. It didn't happen. Okay, Obama said, I want to build the world free of nuclear weapons. That didn't happen. And I predicted that those things would not happen. And the 2 years before Obama left office, and I said Obama will be never able to resolve the North Korea nuclear issue, and he didn't. And now, Trump said, when Kim Jong-il in his New Year's address saying that North Korea was in the final stages of preparations to launch on ICBM test. He didn't have to say that he tested an intermediate range ballistic missile. Why he didn't do so, there'll be a lot of reasons. I'm not going to speculate all this. So let me just summarize my points. We don't know what Trump will do. And he even said, as this week or end of the last weekend, he said, I'm not going to tell you guys, speaking to the reporters, that I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to do in North Korea. And something he said that hasn't happened yet is that we all remember he said he would have his methods and his national security team, especially managed to come up with a strategy to defeat the ISIS in first months. It hasn't happened yet.
It's going to be done exactly as he said it was going to be done.
Well,
as a drafting.
Well, but it has not been announced yet.
When he
But if you say, well, Trump doesn't want to let the adversary know what he was going to do, that's a different matter. So what I'm saying is that there been so many conflicting messages, statements, and when he said North Korean ICBM tests, he said we will not let it happen. He said it won't happen. And my colleague Dennis said that set a deadline, a red line. That wasn't a red line. He didn't say how he was going to do it, what he would do if that happened. He didn't say nothing of the sort. He just left to the imagination of the recipients of the message. So coming back to the question, what part of the mainstream policy that's being pursued by successive administrations of the United States will continue, and what should or will not, and what are the directions the United States should pursue in this regard?
Thank you, Tom, for your comments. Ladies and gentlemen, hold it please. Find it out. We have last but not least speakers already. Mark is right here. And I take one more question very quickly. Yes, please. Microphone.
A friend of mine, Chinese friend of mine, who has friends at the high level of Chinese government. And he was telling me that in China, about 2/3 of Chinese officials, government officials, feel that there will be a military confrontation between USA and China eventually. It'll take maybe 10 years, 20 years. He doesn't know, but so they are suggesting their government to prepare for it. I see we are already seeing it in the South China Sea. But my question to you is that, do you agree with that assessment? And if you do, then do we have a policy to deal with it? That's all.
Thank you.
I guess my answer is I hope not. I think that nothing is inevitable in this world.
I am out of cards right now.
I
Just
would
write
say
something down
that
for you.
we have the ability to avoid war. I mean, you were mentioning what is the Trump policy. One of the things I do like that the Trump administration says is peace through strength. If there is one signal that I'm looking for, it is this commitment to rebuilding the American Navy. I think that the rebuilding of the American Navy from where it is today at perhaps 230, 240 ships, back up over 300, is something that needs to be done. I do believe America is the indispensable superpower, whether it's in East Asia or around the world.
Yeah, I agree with, from the military perspective, in economic area, we are losing trade war, trade with China.
Well, I'm always interested in this idea that we're on the decline and China is on the rise. This is a fragile governmental system in China. I mean, we have a robust government that has survived a lot of things and will survive long into the future. Xi Jinping runs a government that is not robust in the way that ours is. If you look at what he's had to do in the last few years to consolidate power, he has basically gone through a purge of his leadership under the guise of an anti-corruption campaign. He has purged 50 or more generals from the armed forces in China. He has purged officials all over the country. I'm even told by my academic friends now in Beijing that they are being looked at, that the universities are going through an anti-corruption campaign, and if you're teaching the wrong things now in Beijing, to me that isn't the sign of a government that is secure. That is a sign of a government that is worried that they're losing control. Many, many Chinese don't believe in the Communist Party anymore. They don't believe in communist ideology. I'm sure that your businessman friend probably has very little interest in communist theory and Marxism. And you see that all over China today. So I'm not sure the inevitability of China's rise is nearly as secure as the Chinese would want us to believe. And I think it was outrageous, frankly, at Davos when Xi Jinping called himself sort of the champion of globalization. China does not play by free trade rules, and we all know that. So we should be careful. We have a tendency in the United States to think we are on the decline right now. And I think President Trump is trying to bring Americans back to the opinion that we are a strong nation. And we are. We have a very strong economy. Our innovative society, I'll put it up against the Chinese any day of the week. You know? So I think there is a difference.
Okay, ladies, time is up. Thank you very much. Let's give your name. Also, next time when you play the ball for tennis, you'll be proud of it. This is the U.S.-Korea Alliance thing. And I appreciate it. And so clean up your stuff. Take a break. Thank you. Now, before we start dinner, so everyone has this program today, right? And the third page, you see this sort of dark red? Third page. Nina, again, she's high school junior. We in a deep bench, she's one of them. Would you introduce this flag? We don't have a slide. Page 3, flag.
This flag shows this flag flew on ships commanded by Admiral John Rogers during the Civil War and Korean conflict of 1871. The banner first saw action in 1861 when an ironclad ship commanded by Captain Rogers was attacked by Confederate troops, but he did not withdraw. For his bravery, he was promoted to Rear Admiral and presented with a battle-scarred flag which spelled Korea as C-O-R-E-A. The flag shows the 13 stars, the original colonial base. At the resolution of the Korean conflict, Admiral Rogers presented the flag to the Marine lieutenant who had risked his life rescuing it during the storming of a fort on the Seoul River.
Thank you very much. The head of the series. Why is Korea ICAS? And the United States Navy in 1871 visited Korea. This is that flag. 13 stars, colonial names, 13 states, and they spell C, Korea. This is the United States. Now it has become now the U.S. Marine Corps flag. When you go to the U.S. Marine Corps Museum, it's there. It's a Korea as old as 1871. So please be aware that the United States government sent this ship to Korea in 1871, and this flag is C, Korea. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Now it is my great pleasure, Ayo, that we have another intern to introduce you. And this is how one way we build our team bench.
Thank you, Dr. Kim, for this opportunity to introduce our last speaker, Mark Fitzpatrick. He's the Executive Director of the Washington-based office of the International Institute for Strategic Studies as of December 2015. He also continues to head the Nonproliferation and Nuclear